Hi, my name's Trev Hutchings, and this is how to create a two-note power chord sound patch for the Roland Ax Edge using the Ax Edge Editor. Okay, so first you need to turn on your Roland Ax Edge and then press the menu button, then press the forward arrow button 5 times. So now the display will show System. Next, press the Enter button and tap the forward arrow button 7 times. So now the display will show Bluetooth. Now press the plus button so the display says Bluetooth on. Then press the exit button twice. Then select bank 0 on the Roland Ax Edge and select 028 as the sound patch. Okay, so that is the Roland Ax Edge all set up. So next we need to open the Ax Edge Editor app. Then at the top right of the screen, tap on Setup. Now just below where it says Setup, tap on BT Devices. Now tap on the Ax Edge, and then at the bottom of the screen, click on your phone's back arrow. Now if you haven't used the Roland Ax Edge with the editor before, you will need to click on the drop-down arrows on the boxes to the right of the words Input and Output and select the Ax Edge. So now the editor on your phone and the Roland Ax Edge should be paired up, and the little Bluetooth sign in the display on the Roland Ax Edge should now have a little square box around it. And then on the screen of your phone, at the top of the screen, tap on Editor. And now, near the top of the screen, you'll see a group of boxes with words on them, and tap on the one that says Switch. And on the screen, just below the box with the word Switch on it, there's the words Keyboard Switch, and just below the words Keyboard Switch is 4 boxes with Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 and Part 4 written above them. And Part 1 has got On written inside the box, and the other 3 parts has got Off written in the box. And for this tutorial, we're going to use 2 parts, effectively 2 tones. So tap on the Off written inside the box below Part 2, and that now should turn to saying On, and you'll notice the parts that are on have the words written in blue. If you press the keys on the Roland Ax Edge now, you'll hear that you've got 2 tones now, the original guitar tone and the default tone. So now we've got our 2 tones or parts turned on. At the top of the screen, tap on the box that says Part. And near the top of the screen, just below where we just pressed on Part, there's a section that says Select and has 4 boxes. And the first box says Part 1, the second box says Part 2, third box Part 3, fourth box Part 4. And notice that Part 1 and Part 2 are in blue because those 2 parts are the 2 active parts that we just set up in Switch. Also notice that Part 1 is highlighted in red, and that means that all the information below that Select section is the settings for Part 1. So the first thing I want to do here is set Part 2 to the same sound as Part 1 because we're going to use this as a power chord, so they both want to use the same tone. So in the section just below where it says Select, it says Tone, and in the box just below the word tone it says Digi-Dist GTR. And if you click on the button to the right of that box that says list, then this pop-up will appear that's got all the different tones in it. And you'll notice that the tone Digi-Dist GTR is highlighted in the light blue because that's the one that we've currently got selected. But what I want from here is the actual number of the tone, and that is 0363. So we want to make a note of that 0363 because we want to set part 2 to have the same number. So at the bottom of this pop-up, click on cancel, and then back at the top of the screen in that select section, tap on part 2. Now if you look at the section just below that select section where it's got tone written, in the box just below tone it says AX Classic Lead at the moment, which is not the one we want. So if you click on the word list to the right of the box, and then we can scroll up the screen and run through this list of hundreds if not thousands of sounds. There we go. There is 0363, which is the one we want. So I'm going to click on 0363. And now our tone has been set. You see the box just below tone now says Digi-Dist GTR, which is the same as part 1. So now when you press on the keys on the Roland Ax Edge, you'll have both tones playing the same tone. Next we're going to create this power chord effect. So we're going to need to set part 2 to 7 tones higher than part 1. So scroll up the screen on the bottom half of the screen through the different settings until you see the coarse tune setting. And then tap on the box to the right of the words coarse tune. And you can either tap on the plus 7 times, so it says plus 7, or you can move your finger across the grid and it goes minus if you go to the left and it goes plus if you go to the right. And you can set it to plus 7 by using the grid in the middle. Now if you press a key on the Roland Ax Edge, the Ax Edge will play a 2-note power chord. But if you play 2 keys on the Roland Ax Edge, you'll end up playing 2 power chords at once and you get this horrible dirge noise. So what we want to do is to set the keyboard up so it only plays 1 chord at a time. So now drag your finger back down the screen, the bottom half of the screen, back to the top of the list of settings. And you'll see about halfway down the settings on the screen the words mono-poly. So tap on the box to the right of mono-poly where it says tone, and then tap on mono. And now the second part will only play 1 key at a time. So if you play 2 keys on the Roland Ax Edge now, part 2 will only ever play 1 note at a time. And now we need to do the same thing with part 1. So near the top of the screen in the select section, if you tap on part 1, so that's now highlighted red. We've got to the settings for part 1, and once again about middle of the bottom section in the settings you see mono-poly again, and if you tap on the box to the right of mono-poly where it says tone, you can tap on mono again. So now if you play a key on the Roland Ax Edge, you'll get a power chord. And if you play 2 keys on the Roland Ax Edge, it will only play 1 power chord, it won't play 2. Now at this point, if you were to switch the Roland Ax Edge off, all this information would be lost and the original patch would be as it was before. So when you turn the Roland Edge back on, it would just be the original patch. So what we need to do is to save this patch into one of the memory slots. At the top left of the screen, you'll see the words DigiDisc GTR. And if you tap on those words, it'll bring up this message here that says program name and those words. And if you tap in that white box, your keypad would arrive and you'll be able to change the name of your patch to whatever it is you want the patch to be called. And once you've changed the name of the patch to represent the new patch that you're saving, click on OK. And now at the top left of the screen, you'll see that the patch name has changed to the patch name that you've just chosen. Now that we've changed the patch name so we can identify the patch in future, we need to save this patch. So at the top right of the screen, tap on the word write. And this will give us a list of all the memory slots that are available inside the Roland Ax Edge. And it's worth mentioning here that whichever of these patches you choose, the patch that's already in that slot will be deleted to put this one in it. So try and use a patch that you don't think you're going to use in the future. So tap on the patch slot you want to use, and that will get highlighted blue. And then at the bottom of the list, tap on write. And now this will get written back to your Roland Ax Edge. So now if you were to turn your Roland Ax Edge off and then turn it back on, this patch will still be there. If you enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button. Cheers.